In the heartwarming embrace of a large family in Tennessee, Amanda Lanky, born on a sunny day of June 7, 1991, was a beacon of joy and creativity. Her world was a canvas of endless possibilities, each day an opportunity to explore her myriad talents. The Lanky household was a symphony of laughter and warmth, where Amanda's laughter was the most melodious note. As she grew, Amanda's talents blossomed like a rare flower in spring. She twirled and leaped with the grace of a ballerina, her dance steps painting stories in the air. Her fingers danced over piano keys and strummed guitars, each note a whisper of her inner world. Amanda found solace in poetry, her words weaving tapestries of her dreams and aspirations. But amidst this mosaic of talents, there was something that made Amanda truly shine: her unyielding positivity. She was the sun that broke through the darkest clouds, a guiding light in her family's life. Her infectious smile and boundless energy were a source of inspiration, turning every obstacle into a stepping stone. Amanda's family, sensing the limitless potential of their daughter, decided to move to Spring Hill, Florida, seeking new horizons. It was a decision embraced with hope and excitement. Amanda enrolled in a local high school, her eagerness to learn and grow undiminished by the change of scenery. In this new chapter of her life, she continued to thrive, her spirit undeterred by the unknown. Little did anyone know, as Amanda continued to weave her dreams under the Florida sun, that her life's tapestry would soon be entangled in a web of mystery and darkness, changing the course of her story forever. As the school year drew to a close and the Florida sun blazed high in the sky, a different kind of excitement bubbled within Amanda. It was the time for her annual pilgrimage to a place that held a special corner in her heart, the quaint town of White Cloud. Nestled away from the bustling cities, White Cloud was a picture of serenity and nostalgia, a stark contrast to the lively streets of Spring Hill. Each summer, Amanda would eagerly pack her bags, her heart fluttering with the joy of anticipation. White Cloud, with its sleepy streets and familiar faces, was more than just a vacation spot. It was a treasure trove of childhood memories. Her grandparents' welcoming embrace was the gateway to a world where time seemed to slow down, allowing Amanda to savor every moment. In White Cloud, Amanda found a different kind of freedom. The town, with its small population of 1,400, was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other. The streets whispered stories of generations, and the air was filled with a sense of belonging. Here, Amanda could roam freely, the worries of the world seemingly held at bay by the town's invisible protective charm. Her days were filled with laughter and adventures with friends she had known since she was a child. They explored the woods, their imaginations running wild, creating tales of heroic quests and secret kingdoms. The town's tranquility was a perfect backdrop for their youthful exuberance, their echoes of joy mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves. But beneath the idyllic surface, White Cloud harbored secrets, shadows lurking in its quiet corners. It was a place where safety was taken for granted, where the concept of danger was as distant as the stars in the night sky. Little did Amanda know, as she basked in the bliss of her summer escapades, that this haven of innocence was about to be shattered, entwining her fate with the darkest chapter in the town's history. The summer night in White Cloud was a tapestry of stars, each one a silent witness to the events unfolding below. It was the night of June 20th, a night that started like any other for Amanda and her best friend. They had planned a sleepover, a common joy of teenage life, filled with whispered secrets and shared dreams. Amanda's laughter echoed through the house, a melody of pure happiness. The two friends chatted away, their conversation a meandering river of topics, from school life to heart's desires. As the night deepened, they nestled into their beds, the world outside their room fading into a hushed lullaby. But as dawn painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, an eerie silence enveloped the house. Amanda's friend awoke to find an empty bed where Amanda should have been, her heart dropping into an abyss of confusion and fear. The window, which had been securely closed the night before, stood wide open, as if it were a portal to an unknown realm. Panic set in. The friends searched the house, calling out Amanda's name, each call a crescendo of desperation. But there was no response, only the oppressive silence of the empty rooms. Amanda's belongings lay untouched in the room. Her clothes, her backpack, her essence still lingering but her presence inexplicably gone. The revelation was chilling. Amanda had vanished, seemingly into thin air, without a trace. The open window stood as the only testament to her disappearance, a silent scream in the quiet morning. The house, once a cocoon of warmth and laughter, now felt like a cold, desolate space. The news spread like wildfire, a shockwave rippling through the small community. White Cloud, a place where children roamed free and fears were left at the town's borders, was now the center of a mystery that defied explanation. As the initial hours of disbelief turned into frantic worry, the serene town transformed into a hive of activity, with police and locals launching a desperate search for Amanda. In this tight-knit community, Amanda's disappearance was more than just a missing persons case. It was a tear in the fabric of their shared lives, a stark reminder that even in the most peaceful of places, darkness can find a way to creep in. As the sun rose higher, casting long shadows across the streets of White Cloud, a sense of urgency gripped the town. The local police, accompanied by a wave of volunteers, embarked on a meticulous search for Amanda. The town, usually alive with the sounds of everyday life, resonated with a different tune, one of concern and determination. The police methodically combed through the house where Amanda had last been seen. Every corner was inspected, every possibility considered, yet there was no evidence of forced entry, no sign of a struggle. It was as if Amanda had simply vanished, leaving behind a room full of unanswered questions. The investigation team, seasoned in dealing with the rare disturbances of a small town, found themselves in unfamiliar territory. Theories were constructed and deconstructed, each one more baffling than the last. The open window seemed like a silent witness, but it offered no clues, no whispers of what had transpired in the quiet hours of the night. As the search expanded, spreading through the streets and into the surrounding woods, the community rallied together, united in their effort to find one of their own. Flyers with Amanda's smiling face were distributed, each one a reminder of the gravity of the situation. Despite the thorough search, the day waned with no sign of Amanda. The initial theory that she might have left on her own began to lose ground. The absence of her belongings, her known cheerful disposition, and her strong ties to the community painted a different picture, one that suggested something more sinister. The police, facing the growing unease and questions from the community, stood at a crossroads. The lack of evidence, the absence of witnesses, and the open window that led to nowhere left them grappling in the dark. White Cloud, a place where secrets were rare and life was transparent, was now clouded with the unknown. As night fell again, a blanket of worry settled over the town. The once comforting familiarity of White Cloud now seemed to hide unseen shadows, each one a silent echo of the question on everyone's lips. Where was Amanda Lanky? In the wake of Amanda's mysterious disappearance, her family found themselves in an agonizing whirlpool of fear and confusion. The Lanky household, once a haven of joy and laughter, was now shrouded in a heavy cloak of despair. Amanda's absence was a gaping hole in the heart of the family, each member struggling to grasp the reality of the situation. Amanda's parents, racked with worry, clung to the hope that their beloved daughter would walk through the door at any moment, her smile lighting up the room as it always did. But as hours turned into days with no news of Amanda, that hope began to flicker and wane. Her siblings, too young to fully comprehend the gravity of the situation, asked questions that had no answers, their innocent eyes searching for the sister they adored. The Lankis grappled with a myriad of emotions, fear, anger, helplessness, as they tried to support each other through this harrowing time. In the midst of their turmoil, the family struggled with the police's initial theory that Amanda might have left on her own accord. To them, it was inconceivable. Amanda was a happy, well-adjusted girl with a deep love for her family and friends. She had no reason to run away, and certainly not without her belongings, without a word. Frustrated and desperate for answers, Amanda's family began their own campaign to find her. They reached out to media, organized community searches, and spread Amanda's story far and wide. They knew Amanda's cheerful nature, her love for life, and her dreams for the future. This was not a girl who would simply vanish. As they pushed for a more aggressive search, the family couldn't help but feel a growing sense of disillusionment with the investigation. They feared that critical time was being wasted, time that could be the difference between finding Amanda and losing her forever. In White Cloud, a town where everyone knew each other, the Lanky family's grief was shared by many. But within the shared grief lay a palpable tension, a community shaken to its core, grappling with a mystery that seemed to defy explanation. For the Lankys, every passing moment was a reminder of their missing daughter, a reminder that somewhere out there, Amanda needed them. The serene landscape of White Cloud was shattered on the morning of July 5th, when a group of mushroom pickers ventured into a forest some distance from the town. What started as a routine foray into nature turned into a chilling discovery that would forever mar the tranquility of the small community. Deep in the woods, partially concealed by the underbrush, lay a human body. The grim discovery sent shockwaves through the group, their initial disbelief quickly turning to horror as they realized the gravity of their find. The police were alerted, and a wave of ominous silence descended upon White Cloud. As the investigators cordoned off the area, a heavy sense of dread hung in the air. The body, dressed in pajamas, bore a haunting resemblance to the girl whose disappearance had gripped the town. It was a moment of profound sorrow and despair when the worst fears were confirmed. The body was indeed that of Amanda Lanky. The town, once a haven of peace and innocence, was now the backdrop of a tragedy that defied understanding. Amanda, the bright, talented girl who had vanished without a trace, had been found, but the joy of finding her was cruelly snatched away by the harsh reality of her fate. The medical examination revealed a chilling detail. Amanda had succumbed to multiple blows from a heavy object, her life brutally cut short on the very night she disappeared. The revelation sent ripples of horror through the community, a stark contrast to the warm, vibrant life Amanda had led. The police, now faced with a homicide investigation, had to navigate through a maze of questions and theories. How did Amanda end up in the forest? Who could have committed such a heinous act? The peaceful facade of White Cloud was crumbling, revealing a dark underbelly that no one had suspected. For the Lanky family, the discovery was a devastating blow. The glimmer of hope they had clung to, the hope of seeing Amanda smile again, was extinguished. They were left to grapple with an unimaginable loss, their lives forever altered by the cruel twist of fate. As White Cloud mourned the loss of one of its own, the mystery of Amanda's death loomed large, a shadow cast over the town's innocence. The question of who was responsible hung in the air, a dark cloud over a community that had lost its sense of security and trust. In the wake of the tragic discovery, the investigation into Amanda Lanky's death intensified. The once quiet town of White Cloud was now the epicenter of a complex web of suspicion and intrigue. The police, under increasing pressure to solve the case, began to scrutinize every lead, no matter how faint. Amidst the whirlwind of activity, a significant focus was placed on Amanda's interactions and communications. Investigators delved into her digital footprint, hoping to uncover clues in her emails, social media, and chat histories. It was here that they stumbled upon a thread of conversation with a young man, a discovery that momentarily steered the investigation in a new direction. The police pondered over this lead, speculating whether Amanda might have arranged to meet this individual on the night of her disappearance. However, the correspondence offered no concrete evidence of such a meeting. The conversations were mundane, lacking any hints of a planned encounter. This line of inquiry, initially promising, soon hit a dead end, leaving the investigators back at square one. In a parallel effort, the police began to meticulously comb through Amanda's personal belongings left at her friend's house. Among these items was a diary, a window into Amanda's thoughts and feelings. As they turned its pages, they found entries expressing distress over being harassed by an unidentified man. Unfortunately, crucial pages that might have revealed the identity of this person were missing, torn out, leaving yet another frustrating gap in the puzzle. The diary's revelations brought a chilling new dimension to the case. It hinted at a hidden turmoil in Amanda's life, a dark secret she had kept to herself. The investigation team pondered over the implications of this discovery. Could this unknown individual be connected to Amanda's untimely death? As days turned into weeks, the mystery of Amanda Lanky's disappearance and death deepened. The police faced a daunting task, piecing together a puzzle with missing pieces, under the watchful, anxious eyes of a community shaken to its core. The once peaceful White Cloud was now shrouded in a veil of doubt and fear. The trust and openness that had defined the town were eroding, replaced by a growing sense of unease. Amanda's case was not just an isolated tragedy. It was a stark reminder that even in the safest of havens, danger could lurk just beneath the surface. As the investigation into Amanda Lanky's death trudged on, a significant breakthrough seemed to elude the White Cloud police. Years passed with the case growing colder, the mystery of Amanda's death casting a long shadow over the town. But in October 2011, the case took a dramatic turn. A series of allegations emerged against an unexpected figure, Cecil Wallace, the stepfather of Amanda's friend, at whose house she had stayed the night of her disappearance. These allegations were brought forward by several women who claimed to have been victims of Wallace's sexual assaults in the past. Their testimonies painted a disturbing picture of a man capable of heinous acts, hidden beneath the facade of a family man. The revelation sent shockwaves through White Cloud. The possibility that the perpetrator might have been living among them all this time, masked by the ordinary, was a chilling thought for the townspeople. Wallace's arrest in connection with these allegations marked a turning point in the investigation. For the Lanky family, this development was a mix of emotions, hope that justice might finally be served, intertwined with the anguish of revisiting their darkest days. The prospect of closure was on the horizon, yet it was tainted by the harsh reality of the details emerging about Wallace. The police, bolstered by these new leads, delved deeper into Wallace's background and his possible connection to Amanda's death. The community, once trusting and tight-knit, found itself grappling with suspicion and betrayal. The image of White Cloud as a safe haven was crumbling, revealing a hidden layer of darkness and deceit. As the investigation continued, the small town faced its own reckoning. The case of Amanda Lanky was no longer just a tragic story. It had become a mirror reflecting the vulnerabilities and complexities of a community. The once unbreakable bonds of trust and camaraderie were now tested, leaving the residents of White Cloud to navigate a new reality, one where the face of evil could be disturbingly familiar. As the case against Cecil Wallace began to gather momentum, the small town of White Cloud braced itself for the impending trial. The community, already reeling from the revelations about Wallace's past, was on edge. The Lanky family, holding on to a thread of hope for justice, prepared to face the man who was now the prime suspect in their daughter's tragic death. However, in a shocking turn of events, just as the trial was about to commence, Wallace evaded the grip of justice in the most final way possible. On the day of his first court appearance, he was nowhere to be found. The town was thrown into turmoil when the news broke that Wallace had been found in his car in a secluded part of the forest, having taken his own life. This devastating twist left the community and the Lanky family in a state of disbelief and despair. The suicide raised more questions than answers. It left a gaping hole in the pursuit of justice for Amanda, as Wallace's death meant that many truths might never come to light. The opportunity to confront him, to understand why and how such a horrific act could have occurred, was lost forever. In the wake of Wallace's death, the investigation took on a new direction. The police turned their attention to Wallace's sister, Candace, who worked in the police department and was suspected of aiding her brother. As the layers of the case were peeled back, a disturbing picture began to emerge of a network of complicity and cover-up. For the Lanky family, the ordeal was far from over. The quest for justice became even more complicated and painful. They had to grapple with the harsh reality that the person responsible for their daughter's death had escaped the law's reach, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and unresolved grief. The town of White Cloud, once a symbol of peace and safety, now bore the scars of this tragedy. The case of Amanda Lanky had exposed the underbelly of the small community, revealing how evil could hide in plain sight and how the pursuit of truth could be a labyrinth of twists and turns. In this atmosphere of uncertainty and sorrow, the community struggled to find a way forward. The idealistic image of their town had been shattered, replaced by a more complex, somber reality where justice was elusive and closure was a distant dream. In the aftermath of Cecil Wallace's death and the unfolding revelations about his sister Candace's involvement, White Cloud found itself at a crossroads of grief and disillusionment. The Lanky family, carrying the weight of their loss, faced the daunting task of finding closure in a case that had left more questions than answers. The investigation, now focusing on Candace, revealed her role in shielding her brother and potentially obstructing justice. The detectives painstakingly pieced together the evidence, uncovering the extent of her complicity in her brother's dark deeds. This development brought a bitter sense of vindication to the Lankys, but it was a victory tainted by the overwhelming sense of what had been irrevocably lost. Candace's arrest and subsequent trial brought a new chapter of anguish for the Lanky family. They watched as the justice system grappled with the complex web of deceit and cover-up that had clouded Amanda's case. Candace's conviction and sentencing were a small solace, but they did little to fill the void left by Amanda's absence. In White Cloud, the case of Amanda Lanky became a somber reminder of the fragility of innocence and the complexity of human nature. The community, once united by trust and familiarity, now wrestled with a sense of betrayal and a loss of innocence. The town's idyllic image was forever altered, leaving its residents to navigate a new reality marked by caution and introspection. For the Lankys, the journey through the labyrinth of the legal system and the relentless pursuit of the truth was a testament to their enduring love for Amanda. They became advocates for change, pushing for reforms in how missing children cases were handled, ensuring that no other family would have to endure a similar ordeal. As the years passed, the pain of Amanda's loss remained, but it was accompanied by a growing determination to keep her memory alive. Her bright spirit, her talents, and her dreams were immortalized in the hearts of those who loved her. The Lanky family found strength in their unity and their commitment to honoring Amanda's legacy. In the end, the story of Amanda Lanky was not just a tale of tragedy and injustice. It was a narrative of resilience, of a family's unyielding quest for truth, and of a community's journey through darkness towards a new understanding. Amanda's life, though tragically cut short, left an indelible mark on White Cloud, a reminder of the enduring power of love and the relentless pursuit of justice.